In this video, I'm going to talk about and share with you the pointers of, are expedition tints worth it? They're heavier, they're way more expensive, and they have a very specific application. Are these tints right for you? Watch this video and find out. Now, what is an expedition tint? An expedition tint is one that is meant to be used on high altitude mountaineering, on polar exploration, or on long trips like, hey, I'm going to go 1,000 miles on a canoe. You might consider an expedition tent. So what are the different points in an expedition tent versus a regular tent versus an ultralight backpacker tent? First, expedition tents are much heavier duty. This expedition tent from Hilleberg, woo, yeah, this thing has seen -30, -35 degree winds, or -35 degree Fahrenheit or -37 degrees Celsius temperatures. It has survived in the snow. It has literally been surrounded by wolves. Not that this is really a wolf protector, but yeah, that was pretty cool. This expedition tent has been on Denali multiple times. It's spent 3 months in Antarctica. It's gone a lot of places. The big advantage of expedition tents are simply their weather resistance. When you have raging winds, 80-knot winds, -40 degree Fahrenheit or Celsius temperatures, will your tent hold up? The MSR tent, the Hubba, will die. It only has a single arched pole across it. The wind starts hitting this thing, this poor tent will be destroyed. This tent has withstood 80 to 100 plus knot winds. I mean, raging. Get up to the highway, get on the freeway, stick your head out at 70 or 80 miles an hour or 120 kilometers per hour and see how long your tent survives. So expedition tents, their number one purpose is weather survival. The next thing though is all expedition tents, at least I'm familiar with, are always double wall. They are not single wall. Double wall expedition tents means that there is a wall, a complete shell around the tent here, and then a rain fly all around the tent that goes to the ground. If you get a tent like, oh yeah, you know, maybe the fly goes to a foot or 30 centimeters from the ground, that is not an expedition tent. Take, for instance, my Coleman Sundome. This thing is as heavy as my Hilleberg. Actually, it's maybe even heavier because it has a heavy bottom and it has fiberglass poles. Expedition tents will always have aluminum poles, always. No one uses fiberglass poles on expedition tents, but a good expedition tent will also have 10 millimeter poles instead of 9 millimeter aluminum poles. What does that mean for you? That means in really bad weather, your tent will probably survive a lot longer. There we go. 10 millimeter poles, so that is something to look at as well, is how heavy are the poles. Also, expedition tents tend to come with repair couplings. That way you can actually repair a damaged pole. Standard tents, this guy actually comes with it because it's a professional backpacking tent, but this little Coleman Sundome that is like crazy heavy, 6.5, 7 pounds or 3.5 kilos, no way. So that is a consideration. Also, expedition tents tend to come with other nice features like strings across the top so you can dry and hang your clothes or your skis or whatever gear. They tend to come with pockets. Also, they're designed with strong bottoms without the bathtub bottom in this sort of tent. So that is a consideration as well. Also, there are multiple designs of expedition tents, whether they're the sloped bivvy, the tunnel tent like this, or the classic dome tent that you might see on some Everest show, where they're a full 4-pole geodetic style dome tent. Those can take a beating. I generally don't see tunnel tents on Everest locations or other mountaineering because they end up requiring a lot of space. This is a big downside with a tunnel tent, is they eat up a lot of space versus a dome tent. However, you get a lot more usable volume out of an expedition tunnel style tent versus a dome tent. So that is a consideration. So hopefully this helps clear up the difference between an expedition tent and a non-expedition tent. And are they worth the money? You better believe it. Your non-expedition tent will not survive Antarctica, but I have seen people on Denali on expeditions using ultralight tents, and they just put up snow blocks to protect themselves. I think it's crazy, because if you get in a situation where you can't put the snow blocks up and your tent gets destroyed, I have known people that have had that happen to them at 17,000 feet. Woo boy, misery. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. Please check out links in the description to my books: Antarctic Tears, Lost at Windy Corner, Adventure Expedition 1, How to Keep Your Feet Warm in the Cold, the Jackson Hole Hiking Guide, The Most Crucial Knots to Know, and the 2024 Total Eclipse Guides, as well as my shows World Beyond and Antarctic Tears. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can keep up with the latest greatest in my 4-season adventure travel channel to keep you happy in the outdoors. Thank you!